what's going on?
Yeah, yeah, I'm cool. Love to see your face.
Oh, love to see your face, man. I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome,
Welcome
welcome.
to Africa.
Oh, is that where you're at right
Yeah,
now? Wow, what part? Are you in
yeah,
Nigeria?
cool.
I did see that you're. Is that
I'm
where you're
in
at?
Lagos State, Southwest, Lagos State right now.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible, man. Are you? Is that where were you born and raised? I thought I did read that you're from Nigeria, right?
yeah, I'm from Nigeria. I was born and brought up in Akwa Ibom State. That's the south part of the Nigerian country.
Uh huh.
And yeah, I was born and brought up there. But I later relocated to Lagos, where the industry is happening.
Uh huh.
I had to be where the musicians were, because my local community is just full of politicians, and
Interesting.
church. Yeah, well, I'm not a politician. I never wished to be a politician, and I didn't want to become a pastor, so I had to relocate myself to Lagos. You know,
Wow, 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 wow. Your studio looks beautiful, man. I love it.
well, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
This my area, this is my world. You know,
That's your yeah,
yeah.
yeah, totally. Wow, we'll talk about growing up where you came from. What was music? You said politicians are there, and what preachers, ministers, a lot of like religion.
Yeah,
Okay, what was that
yeah.
like?
It's cool. Like, depending on what ones want to know, like what you only want to do in life. Like, if you want to become a pastor, there's no problem. That's really good for you. If you want to become a politician, yeah, that's the zone for you. You have to be there. If you want to be a politician, if you think you want to be an oil worker, good for you. Go to my states, you will excel. But if you want to be a musician and you want to be standing out from the crowd, you have to go to Lagos. You
Oh,
have to go to
interesting.
Lagos and prove yourself. Yeah. You have to
Okay,
go to Lagos and prove
how far
yourself.
away is that from where you grew up?
Wow. It's quite very far away. Like you have like 18 hours bus drive. Yeah. That's almost a day's journey.
Whoa.
It's
Okay,
quite very far.
it is
It's
far,
far.
far,
It's
but
far.
that's where the music like hub is of where you grew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. So growing up, how did you get into
Yeah.
music? Were your family like politicians, or did you grow up in like a religious home? Like talk about yeah, like how did you get from there
Religious.
to where you're at now?
I was born with the music ear. Like I just woke up one morning and I discovered that I had musical ear, very strong musical ear. I could understand, though I never knew what do was in my whole life. I never knew what do was in music, but I could sense that that was a root note. Like I don't know, like I grew up in a very religious background where I used to wake up with guitar. I used to wake up with piano. My father is a
Wow.
very big bishop in my local community. So I grew up in that kind of environment, where I had to be seeing the choir, rehearsing, and the choir director is directing the choir, and I grew up in a very, very far deep religious background where those days we didn't used to have musical instruments like the piano, the keyboard. We used to have local percussions
Hmm.
where you just have to use African percussion, the clav, the conga. We mix it up with the hands clapping and the shaker. We'll make the music. So that's how I grew up. So growing up, someone came into my church where my father was pastoring and donated a musical instrument for us. He just donated the musical instrument for us, and there was nobody to play. We were very happy to have seen that, because those are the equipments we used to see, in traditional marriages,
Hmm.
in an occasion, we would invite them to come, or I'll see it on the television. I would admire them, but I couldn't have any. I didn't know how to play anyone. But once we had that in the church and there was nobody to play, I summoned courage. I don't know. There was a day in my whole life that led me to where I am today. I woke up one morning went to the church, and the church was filled with people. There was no one to play the new equipment. And, you know, me, basically, I don't know, naturally, I was just stubborn. I don't know. I love devices. I just love to, I used to, you know, even in my sitting room, I would love to touch the radio. I would love to touch the TV, but they will, you know, parents now, they will just tell you, stop that. You don't have to do that. That's not good for you. You know,
Right.
but I was always curious to understanding the device technology. So I was just staring at the guitar, and I told myself, I can't just let this, you know, event, this service go by and not just jump into the pulpit and see what's happening with the equipment. So, you know, there was a time a singer now came outside to sing, and I woke up, I stood up out of the crowd, out of my folds. I stood up and I went to the pulpit. Getting to the pulpit, I was frightened because, you know, many eyes were on me. I didn't know what I was
Yeah,
doing,
definitely.
and I didn't know what I was doing. But what helped me was that these guys, they came to route the equipment. I was there. I saw what he did. He plugged the cable to the combo and laid it up to the bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So my mind just went straight that I should get back to the combo backside and on the combo and get the bass guitar. That's how I did. I on the combo and it responded. I left up the guitar and I touched the string and it was playing. The singer was singing. There was nobody else to play. I now led myself. I didn't know what I was doing. This is a true life story. I never knew what I was doing, but I drew the third string and I got the notes which the singer was
Oh, by ear,
singing.
just
I,
listening to how he was
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
Whoa.
I stood there for a very long time, knowing that that was the place, but I didn't know where else to go. I stood there on the do, 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 do. So my hand now lifted down to the other side of the fa. So that's how I got to understand that this is what I used to hear, you know, in country music, like those
Mm-hmm.
or those or so. And I said, this is what they played. That's how I got to being so interested in music. And I told myself, no, because after the church, even the church, you know, the announcer now came out and told me, they need to do something about my musical career. Like I was really, they were so impressed that, you know, they all thought that I would maybe, you know, dismantle the whole guitar. But I did I performed very well, even though I did mistakes, but I could stay on the key. You know, that's how I
Mm-hmm.
started my musical career. I was so much in love with drum sets, you know, because I love the drum. It was too, you know, it was full. I love the
Right,
pieces of
right.
the drum full. So I needed something that I can just be, you know, I wanted to be a leader. Like I just want to sit down on my own, controlling the toms and the snare and the hi-hat. So, but, you know, as time went by, you know, we had three guys that came to be teaching us in the church. They were teaching people in the church. I was so concerned about the drums. I really love drumming, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
there was a time my teacher didn't come to church to teach me today. So I was just, you know, walking by, seeing what other guys were doing. The keyboardist was trying to play. She was a woman. She
Mm-hmm.
was trying to play the chords which the, you know, tutor was trying to let her play. So I was just standing by and I now asked a question if I could try because I could understand what the man was trying to let her play, but she was not really getting it. And I'll now ask him if he could give me an opportunity to just try. They say, okay, no problem, try. That is how I never left keyboard till now.
Wow. So
Yeah,
that
it's
day
so
that he wasn't there, you just sat down and started playing and all by ear still.
no, no. He said he needed the girl to play three chord progression, do mi so.
Mm-hmm.
He needed her to play that, but she was trying, you know, she was trying. But the moment I now got into the piano, I played it immediately, and I was shocked. I was very, very shocked. That is how I discovered that I can't let go of the piano. Once they leave the church, I have to be with the piano. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
started being with the piano. I now discovered that the piano had so many tones. I could play a drums on the piano. I
Uh-huh.
could I could play guitar on the piano. I could blow a trumpet on the piano. What? And I told myself, no, I have to work on the piano. And God so blessed me. It was a very big keyboard, so I could sequence. I started sequencing on the piano forte. That's how I started my musical career. I started sequencing on the piano forte. Then I had my little cartridge where I would just slot in and save them. That's how I started. Then I'll be recording. I'll record my vocal with the tape recorder. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah, yeah. It was a real time. Like, no, I record my vocals with the tape recorder. I'll now press play on my keyboard, and the beat will start. I'll start busting. So it was hard though before the technology now.
Right, of course.
Like, I had a computer system when I was in school, and I started making beats on my laptop.
Wow. So did you
Yeah.
move to go to school for music, or you just happened to
No,
move because you're like, I want to be where the music is happening?
I actually had interest in music, but I studied business management in school. You
Oh,
know,
it's probably a
that
smart
was,
move.
yeah, that was the course I choose in school. I studied music management, but I was so much involved in the church programs in school
Mhm.
because the school there was filled with a lot of people I didn't know. They came from far away places. I was too educated because a lot of people will come, they will give me different ideas. This one will speak another language. This one will speak another language. This one will tell me his experience. She will tell me her experience. I was so exposed. And people would be asking me, where are you from? Where are you from? I love the way you play. Where are you from? I will tell them I'm from this local community. They'll tell me, no, you're not from there. I think you're from Lagos. Look at your sound. Look at your beats. Your beats are heavy. We don't have this kind of sound here. And I'll just be surprised. So each time I go back to my room, I'll just tell myself, maybe probably after school, I'll try something out in Lagos. I never knew where Lagos was. So I kept telling that to myself. People kept telling me, you need to go to Lagos. You need to go to Lagos. I never had anybody in Lagos. I didn't know how Lagos was. It is now that I know that Lagos is like New York. You can't just mess yourself. You get lost. The place is filled with people. So it is now that I really understood that, my higher self really gave me that courage to move and grab my opportunity myself.
Mhm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So Lagos is like similar, you said, to New York City. It's just like a big
Yeah.
city with, I'm just so unfamiliar. I'm so sorry. But yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah, so that's amazing. And that's kind of where, are there like are there clubs and stuff happening that you could go perform at? Like, how did you get your foot in there when you moved? I mean, going
That's a,
from where you were born and raised, now you're in this big city. I imagine it was
you
hard to
know,
kind of cut your teeth there.
so after school, I had a little studio in my father's compound.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very little studio there where I just needed to just be doing some programming, because I couldn't stay in my room because I would be disturbing my mom, and my friends who don't even help this situation because they do come around. They come around me every time. They just want to, someone will be smoking and my mom wouldn't like that. So
Right.
I now asked my father for permission to let me build a very little, house that I can just have as a studio behind the main apartment. And I said, okay, if I can, give me some money. My father really encouraged me. He gave me some money and I built the
Mm-hmm.
place. I started a studio, though it was a wooden studio, though. I started it. People used to come, and there was a popular boy that his father was a commissioner. The boy was a rich boy. He used to come to our house. So, there was a day his car tire got stuck in the mud. So the guy, when he came to my studio, he was not happy. He now told me that I have to try as much as possible to move out from there. So immediately he told me that. I told my inner self that I'm gonna move. I now call one of my boys. I told them that I love to go to the main city. I mean, inside my local community, we still have a main city there,
Mm-hmm.
where the big boys are. And I told my guy that I want to be there since everybody thinks, you know, I cannot be there, that I want to be there. And the boy really helped me, now encouraged me. He said, boss, we can be there. We can be there. I have one DJ there that we can just link up with. He called the DJ guy, and the DJ guy now responded. The DJ guy told me he knows me already, but because I was trying to make wave, I was making little wave in the local community that he knew
Mm-hmm.
me. that the only thing he can do for me is for him to call the boss. He now called the boss. He now told the boss about me, that I want to come into the house and rent a house there and make a studio. The boss now said he doesn't know me, that when he comes back from Lagos, the boss was based in Lagos then, and when he comes back from Lagos, that he's going to meet me. And I told him, when are you coming back? He said, in the next 6 months. And I told him, no, I can't wait for you, boss. Can I just start something? I promise you, I don't mind you letting me to know your mom. Your mom can supervise me. I'm not a troublesome person, but I will make sure that this place is okay, you know, because I know how studio can be. A lot of people will come, criminals will still come, people will still want to smoke, just make noise, carry girls along. You know, so luckily for me, he said, okay, no problem. I went to meet the mom. The mom just accepted. That's how I started the studio in the zone there. This zone is a very big place for free. It was for free. It was for free. So I was telling myself, when I was in this place, I was in the place for like 3 months, 4 months. And people kept telling anybody that comes into the city would come to my studio and be asking me, where are you from? I would tell him I'm from this city. The person would tell me, no, you are not. I don't think you are from here. Your sound doesn't really speak here. You have to go to Lagos. You have to go to Lagos. I never had anybody in Lagos. I never had nobody in Lagos. So one night, my boy came back with a guy I never knew. The guy said he was going back to Lagos, that he had an apartment in Lagos, that he would take me there to Lagos. And I was happy. I was happy, but I was also worried because I didn't have any money with me. You know, I just, you know, embarking on a journey that I don't even know anywhere about. Was quite very, you know, I was nervous to have made that. So I now went back to my house. I told my parents about it, and they said to me, you are not going anywhere. You can't go to anywhere. You have to, as a matter of fact, you have to start looking for work to do. You know, this studio stuff is really taking you crazy. You have to stop this shit. You know, they started saying that to me. But though I went back to my room and I spoke to myself, if I don't stand up for my family, who will stand up for me? You know, I can't end up being my father, like my father, because my father is a big bishop. I never wanted to become a bishop. You know, I never wanted, I didn't want to force myself. I didn't want to, because I'm the next son to my father, I have to become the bishop. No, I needed to be myself because I knew that I just had that confidence in music that anyway, even in school, big churches, I would go to I will excel. My parents didn't know that I do all these great things in school. You know, so I knew it to myself, and I told myself, can I just leave this place early in the morning and nobody would see me? I left the place. It was a phone call when I was at the park. When I was at the bus stop, the bus park, I called my parents that I'm embarking on the journey, that I'm very sorry. It's not as if I'm disobeying them, but I have to make this journey, that I just need their blessing. They were just, they were angry at the end. They said, oh, God bless you. May your journey be fruitful. That's how they blessed me. And I
That's
left with this
amazing.
guy. I left with this guy. When I left with this guy, it was incredible. And what I saw with this guy was, and I've never wished anybody to see that. When we were embarking on the journey, we didn't reach Lagos. He now stopped on the way. He said he wanted to see his girlfriend in Ibadan. Ibadan was half a way to Lagos. I never knew any way. He now took me to the girl's place. We slept there. The following morning, I woke up with the girl and I was searching for my purse. I didn't see my wallet again. He had stolen he stole my wallet off. He stole my wallet and I woke up. I thought it was play. Maybe probably he hid it somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was around 8 a.m. in the morning. So around 10 a.m. in the morning, time was going, and I asked the girlfriend, please, where is Hat? His name is Hat. His name is Hat.
Yeah, like Hat. Yeah.
Yeah, Hat. Now, so where's Hat now, please? Well, because I've not seen my wallet. I need my wallet. I have my ID card. I have some box with me. You know, he said, no, he doesn't understand. She doesn't understand that. Hat just told him that he wants to get something that maybe probably is coming back. I waited for her till 4 p.m. He never returned. And now I was too worried. The girl saw I was so worried. I was so worried. She started crying. when she now tried to call the guy's number was not going. She now said, this is what he normally does. He will bring people to her house and rob the people, and that would be the end. And he would put her into problem. So the neighbors now started coming out, and they told the girl, this is what they've been telling you. You don't have to be, dating this kind of person again. This person will put you into problem one day. Look at what he has done again. I was just there stranded, and my spirit told me, what do you do? I wanted to call my parents, but I told myself, if I call my parents, it would be another added problem for me, because they've already told me not to go to this place. But
Yeah.
I did it myself.
Right.
So it was there. I was just sitting down. I was thinking of what to do, because I didn't have any box with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking the girl, do we have any studio around the area? She now said, she herself doesn't really understand music business here, that she's not a
Mm-hmm.
musician, but she has someone that probably the guy normally comes around to smoke. If the guy comes, that he will let the guy see me. So on that evening, the guy came. The guy's name is J Guy. The guy came to the area, and the girl now saw the guy, now called the guy. She was speaking Yoruba, because Yoruba is a Lagos, language, like Yoruba
Oh,
language.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so she was speaking Yoruba. So the guy now came to me and helped me, so we exchanged pleasantries. So he now said, what kind of software do you use to produce? By then I was using Reason to produce. And I told him I was using Reason. Reason was quite very, sophisticated then. So he was impressed. He now told me, are you serious? Do you play keys? I said, yes, I play keys. Do we have any board around so I can just showcase myself? And I said, okay, no problem. That's coming back to pick me. The guy came back with a flashy car and picked me in Ibadan.
Wow.
He came back with it. I never knew he was a rich boy. He came back and picked me. We went to one gospel studio, one sophisticated studio, and I met the boss of the studio. And the guy now told me, okay, I heard that you use Reason. Okay, can we hear you on piano? And I
Mm-hmm.
played. They now said they liked me. Okay, no problem. Now, can we make beats? That's how I made beats. I made
Oh,
beats for J Guy.
wow.
And I made beats for J Guy in Ibadan. J Guy now told me, please, are you coming back? Where are you from? That's how I told him my story about Hat, and how Hat now, stole my wallet. He now told me that I was so lucky, because that guy was a criminal, and he's a wanted criminal, that I was so lucky to have met him, J Guy, that
Mm-hmm.
guy would have led me into problem, that it was God that told him to come to that area, that I should follow him to his house. That's how I followed J Guy to his house. I saw mighty building. And J Guy, luckily for me, J Guy was a Lagos boy. He just came back to his father's hometown to just relax, because he's schooled in University of Lagos. So he now
Oh.
told me that he has a house in Lagos, that I should just relax, that he's going back in 2 weeks. I should just relax, that he will pay my ticket to Lagos, that we can make the music journey together. Like, no, that's how I stayed with J Guy. He fed me, in Ibadan. We now left. We got to Lagos. That's how I started my music journey in Lagos. I stayed with J Guy for 6 months. We made music, we went to places. I asked a lot of questions, because, I really loved questions. Like, I would love to know, where is this? Where is this street going? Where is the island part? And where is the mainland part of Lagos? That's how I started. I have never gone to any studio in my life that I do say, man, they don't like this guy's music. They don't like this. I have never. The only problem I would have is that maybe probably the producer is getting annoyed because I'm there, or maybe probably the producer doesn't want me to be there, because he thinks now many eyes will be looking at me. I don't know why. So, but I take that as a very big strength for me, because I play keys. Many producers, they don't play keys.
Mm-hmm.
They only make beats on mouse. So,
Right, right.
each time I go to studios, artists will love to work with me, because, I'll start the music from background. I would love to sing for me. Let me hear you. They'll sing, and I'll play. The format I use in the church when we are rehearsing, I will start the music from a very slow tempo to whatsoever tempo we want to put it down. That's how I got to, playing from different places to another place. People will just be linking me up, linking me up, linking me up, linking me up, linking me until I reach where I am today, right now.
Wow.
For real, for real, for real.
So just from J Guy, he basically, he just, it's wild that, that the hat guy took you to this girl's house, you get robbed. And then she's like, well, this is this guy that comes around and he knows music a little bit. And he happens to come that night and then, takes you under his wing. And now you're in Lagos. That's how right? J Guy. Wow.
And J Guy, funny enough, J Guy is doing so well. J Guy is in California right now. God has blessed him so much.
That's where I'm at, in San Diego.
Every time. When he saw my video on net, it was like, what? This is Icebeatchillz. This is, my name, Icebeatchillz. I know people knew me like Chillings then. I used to be a Chillings, but, when I started my main musical career, I had to switch it up to Icebeatchillz.
Okay.
So this is my guy. So he now called me. I'm really happy that J Guy, J Guy was like a savior to me, But where I had nobody, I knew nobody. I came to Lagos. J Guy fed me for like 6 months. Wow. I was just there, it's going from studio to studio, going from labels to labels, just going up and down, sleeping from one couch to the other. So, now like I'm living in mansion myself now, it's very, very so inspirational to me, So that has been my music journey.
That's amazing. What an amazing story. Well, so you were mainly behind the scenes, right? Working with Barry J Guy, and like, now you have a new song that's you as an artist, right? Or in front, singing and everything else, right? What made you decide to make the switch?
Good question. My sense, I don't know, like I have this little sense in me. I always read a lot, because, I'm self-taught in music. I'm self-taught musician. Like I'm a self-taught musician. I try as much as possible to educate myself, in whatsoever step I want to make. So, starting as a producer was very helpful for me because I didn't have the money to push myself as an artist. I had songs. Definitely, I will have a song in the studio. I will just wake up in the morning and have a song. I'll record, but I can't publish it because I don't want. I'm not the kind of person that would just want to publish a song and the song will just be there. So I said to myself, no, leave artistry, keep it aside.
It's 9 o'clock.
Keep your artist life aside. Make sure you work on, because I needed to survive in Lagos. I needed to be producing artists so I can have, some cash for me to feed myself. So I knew that if I had ventured into artistry, I wouldn't have been able to meet up because, funding the career, pushing the tracks, making videos, and, promoting the videos is another fun entirely. So I just said to myself, no, let me leave the artist aside and take the production side, and push it up. So, meeting CCR, I was pushing an artist. So I met CCR. So something happened on the way. So CCR now told me, man, they'll love me because I usually record. And the one day I sent my track to, one of the CCR boss, the president of CCR. And she now said, no, Ice, can you become an artist? And I said, no, let me keep it low. She now said, no, she wants me to be an artist because this song is powerful. And the song is something that she had sent to people. And people said, no, you have to work on this guy. You have to brush this guy up. This guy is good. That's how I got motivated to becoming an artist. And I said to myself, okay, since now I have someone that says, go, let me go. Yeah, so that's how I became. How I became an artist. Yes, that's how I became an artist. And trust me, if I had pushed myself as an artist, then it wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. Well, That's amazing. Well, I was going to ask you too, because I did read that you were like a professional soccer player, and on your Instagram and stuff, there's video of you playing soccer, and it looks like you, I mean, you're very good, and you ended up hurting your shoulder. Were you doing this all a month? I mean, you were, you know, in the church playing music and everything. Was soccer something that you thought that you were going to, you know, be a pro soccer player, and then this kind of happened both at the same
The
time?
my soccer life was an hobby to me. It was like an hobby. I'm just
Oh.
naturally talented. If
Yeah,
I
it
venture,
sounds like
yeah,
it.
yeah, if you see me playing snooker, you'll be shocked. I'm not a professional snooker player, but I can become a professional if I put my head, because I would
You look good on
understand.
the video I watched on your YouTube or Instagram.
I would study the angles, and I will make sure I was very good in soccer. Oh my God. I was very good in soccer. People used to pay for me to become a missionary for them.
Wow.
Soccer was not something I intended to hold upon, but it was people, apart from my music side, because my father has a big church in my local
Mhm.
community.
Okay.
That's where the music side came. But aside from the music, I used to go out to mingle with my folks in the field. We'll play, we'll make some noise, we play around,
Mhm.
I'll dribble, I'll catch ball. People will just be surprised. Sometimes now people say, okay, we had a community football. It is Chillings. Let Chillings be the goalkeeper. That's how it
Mhm.
started. Until one man came. One man saw me. The man saw me. When he saw me, he now told me that I was very good in goalkeeping, that he would love me to become one of the goalkeepers in the federal cup that was supposed to be held in Abuja. And I
Mhm.
was shocked. I thought he would never call me. The man called me the following day. I went to his office, and to my greatest surprise, I was filed as the first number one goalkeeper of Federal Inland Revenue Service Commission. So it's something that I now told myself, if this could happen, that means I can take my football career to top. It was
Mhm.
during this course of us training, I had the injury.
Oh, okay.
I had the injury on my shoulder. So
Mhm.
when I had that injury on my shoulder, they paid me off. So when they paid me off, and I was so frustrated, and I told myself, what do I do? By then, I didn't finish school. I didn't really know that I will hold music as a very strong, career
Mhm.
of mine. And I told myself, what do you do? This football is too hard. You can't be training in the sun like this. And the music is full of politics too. If I do music now, what will happen to me in music is that I will stay in an AC environment, an air-conditioned environment. I'll do music. And once the music is good, if I splash it out, million people, as they would come to watch me as a footballer, would listen to it in their offices, their homes, in their cars, they would do it. So when you're good in music, you've had a shoulder injury now. Sit down one place, focus on music. That's how I swerved from football to
Oh, to
music.
music. That's
You
interesting.
know,
Wow. Oh, I want to know. Okay,
for
well,
real.
yeah. Back to your music career. I'm curious. Are you team? Are you down? No. Goes.
Sorry, please come again. What did you say?
Oh, I said I was. Are you guys in? Are you in lockdown right now? Like in quarantine?
Yeah, of course now.
Yeah, I
Of course,
figured. It's
yeah.
just so bizarre because, like, I mean, you're in Lagos and I'm in California, and we're all stuck inside. How did that affect your music career? And where were you at
You
when
know,
that all happened?
man, I wouldn't lie to you. I would say it affected me very positively because, you know, during that course, when I made that track with Beenie Man,
Mm-hmm.
I made the track, I sent the track to my team leader, and she liked it, and she said, "Yeah, this sounds more of dancehall. Ice, what do you want to do about it?" I said, "Okay, if anybody comes on it, no problem." She said, "Okay, Benny Man can jump on it." I said, "Really? Does he like the track?" He said he loves the track so much. They just want to ask me if he can jump. I said, "Okay, let me hear what Benny Man can do."
Mm-hmm.
Man, Benny Man came out with fire with the track, and I now said myself, "What? What can we do in this pandemic? What can I do in this pandemic? How can I fly to Jamaica? or how can Beenie Man come to Nigeria? How do we shoot video? And I said, okay, now I can call a director in Jamaica. Director can shoot Beenie Man's part. I can have a director here. He can come to my estate. We can make something out of it. That's how we started making things. I called the director. They came. We drew out a concept for the video treatment, and I shot the video. Beenie Man over the shot the video. So what really affected me was positivity, because you know what happened? People could stay on their devices to be watching me. People, they could stay in their cars and be listening to the track, without traveling or getting me going to Jamaica. So what really helped me in that situation of pandemic was, that there was a device, so I can reach out to you like this one-on-one, so we can still speak.
Yeah.
So I speak with Beenie Man like this, and we'll just all laugh, and I will correct ourselves, and we'll make things happen. So that's how everything happened. It was
That's
so very,
cool.
very positive. I didn't even
Yeah.
feel like, I never felt that there was a pandemic, because I could still make things happen for myself.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's such a bizarre time, in the fact that people all have to adapt to now the Zoom calling. I mean, it was such a small thing, and now it's everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows how to use it, right?
Yeah.
It's like we had to adapt very quickly to technology, so everybody can still work and do what they do.
I think it's nature that brought this to us. Like, it just wanted us to switch from the other side of our technology concept to another side where we can be able to figure out one-on-one without meeting one-on-one. We can speak. I can see you. You can see me on a Zoom call. I can make music with you. You can sing for me. I'll hold my guitar. I'll play with my headphone. And, I can record you with your vocals on my system in my studio.
Sure.
So I still believe that we can still do whatsoever we do. So the pandemic brought to us, positive vibe. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
more knowledge. Yeah. It brought to us more knowledge. It brought to us, it brought to us new, how do I put it? Let me say new conscience for us to be able to sit down and rethink ourselves and tell ourselves that we can do much better than we used to do. Like someone like me, artists, they call me a lot. They just want to work with me. They can't travel out, but they like my beats. They just want to work with me in the studio. They don't want me to just give them beats, because they believe that I'm a good director. So they will call me in a Zoom call while they record it. I'll tell them, okay, can you ad-lib in this part? Okay, can you pitch this part? Can you double the vocals this part? Okay, sometimes I will sing for them and they will pick it up and they will record. So the pandemic to me was not really a pandemic that we have to, be crying. So it was very positive for us.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, and I've said this a million times on this podcast, is just the thing that I think is beneficial for people. And what I think is really fascinating about this is, like, you're sitting in your studio, and we wouldn't probably know what your studio looked like if it wasn't for this pandemic. We might be doing this in person somewhere, but now it's, you're in your own comfort zone. Like, I'm in my mother-in-law's house, you know what I mean? Because we're moving, but it's like one of those things where it's just like a total different look into these artists that you've idolized or grew up listening to, or you want to know more about and see right in the moves. So now I can see in your house, and it's it's such a different experience, I think, for people.
It's amazing to me. It's really amazing to me. Really, I really love it.
Yeah. And Ice, thank you so much, man, for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I really appreciate it.
I love hanging out with people like you, because I know I'll learn a lot. And thank you so much for accepting me. Thank you for welcoming me into your, it's really nice. Like, it shows to me that I have people that would love to listen to me and get to know my story, because one deserves to speak his story. One deserves to defend himself. Some sometimes, you know, I just walk past and people will just be looking at me. Ah, who is this guy? Who is it? They don't know what I've gone through.
Right. They
Man,
think
I
that it
look
was just handed to you or something.
for real. Even before as I just came to Lagos, I didn't used to eat. I would just be smiling. I'll give a good smile, but you wouldn't know I've not eaten since morning. But I'll be okay. So it's good for one to speak his mind, give your story so you can be free. The world can know you and they can also be free with you.
I love
It's
that.
really
I
good.
love
It's
that.
really
Yeah. I
good.
have one more question for you, Ice, before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah, of course, yeah. My advice to aspiring artists would be, you know, one thing about life is the key is knowledge. The key is knowledge. Being able to make decisions in a very tough moment. You know, you have to decide on which side to go, and it has to be right. You know, and you don't have to make mistake going left. Once you go left, you know, you've missed the route. So my advice to aspiring artists who would probably wants to be like any other body or any other person in life is education. Be informed. Be informed of what you want to do, please. You know, because you know your higher self, your spirit, you know, your head, this thing is the machine. You can't just say, I want to be a, like Icebeatchillz. Ah, Icebeatchillz has succeeded. You just went to Lagos and made it. And no, I have to
Right.
go to Lagos. No. You can't just go to Lagos. Are you good in production? Are you good in artistry? Are you good in, you know, you have to hold on to the knowledge that you believe and you have confidence of. You know, you don't just make things because other people have made it. You know, so education is the profound key to success in anything you want to do. If I had not gotten this little knowledge that I held on to myself, and I've, you know, the ABCs of music helped me today. The 1, 2, 3, do re mi is what helped me today. You know, so you know, my advice, please, is that one should be able to attain particular knowledge of which he or she wants to venture into. You know, that will help a lot too, please. That's my advice to any aspiring whosoever. Bringing it backward.